Isaac Newton was the first man who found the force of gravity. It was an evening of 1665 when Newton was sitting under the tree of apple and he was busy in thinking of why planets revolve around the sun. And suddenly an apple fell from the tree under he was sitting, and he discovered that there is a force which attracts apple and every other object towards itself. So this force is known as force of gravity. Actually, in this video I am going to talk about Newton's law of universal gravitation. According to Newton's law of universal gravitation, every other object in the universe attracts every other object with a force which is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of distance between them from their center. Let's suppose we have two masses, m1 and m2. Both the masses are separated by the distance d from their center. According to Newton's force, F directly proportional to the product of masses m1 and m2, and this force also inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. If we combine these two equations, then this relation comes. If we remove the sign of proportionality, then there is g. Here g is the constant of gravitation. Its SI unit value is 6.673 cross 10 raised minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. Due to the value of g is very small, that's why we feel the force of gravity negligible. So this law related to the Newton's third law of motion. Newton's third law of motion also states that every action has a reaction force but in opposite direction. If we say that the mass m has a actional force and the m2 mass has a reactional force, so this Newton's law of universal gravitation also related to the Newton's third law of motion, that every action has a reaction force. So earth attracts every other object near around us. So this is all about Newton's law of universal gravitation. According to Newton's law of universal gravitation, the gravitational force between an object and the earth is given by the relation F is equal to me over r square. Here m is the mass of that object and me is the mass of the earth, and r square is the distance between these two. The gravitational force is a non-contact force. For example, when we throw an object vertically upward, its velocity decreases. But when that object comes down toward the earth, its velocity increases. This is due to the gravitational pull. So this proves that the gravitational force is a non-contact force. Actually, the weight of an object is due to the gravitational force. So gravitational force is a non-contact force and is directly towards its mean, that its direction is towards the center as shown in figure. So such a force is known as the field force, that earth has all around the field. The gravitational field per unit mass is known as gravitational field strength, and its value is equal to the value of g at that point. Near the surface of the earth, the gravitational field strength is 10 Newton per kilogram. 10 Newton per kilogram. So this is all about Newton's law of universal gravitation, the gravitational field and the gravitational field strength.